What's going on, guys? This is Carl with the Racerred channel. I wanted to talk about the BLM for a little bit. In Utah, the BLM just took hundreds of miles of some of the best off-roading and banned the public from it. Despite the public's pleads, they had a lot of people commenting on that, so much so that they had to delay the ban. It took a long time to go through the public comments. Unfortunately, when you comment on BLM closures, they give you three options. In most cases, they give you three options. The first option is they close a little bit of your land, which is not a little bit, just less. And there are two increasingly restrictive options, which is what I have been seeing frequently. And those are the ones that you really don't want them to pass. But I think I've kind of noticed that once you agree to any option, you've agreed to their tyranny. Basically, you've just lost. You've lost the second you agree to any option other than no action. I find it odd that the BLM doesn't ask the public if they want no action taken. There should be an option for that. But there never is. Isn't that weird? The Constitution of the United States only allows the government to have land in military bases, post offices, and a few other exception situations, but really the government isn't supposed to own land. And when you talk about public land, you're really saying the government owns it. Unfortunately, with privatized land, we see that there are gates everywhere, there are fences everywhere with big structures and gates and red paint everywhere. And you know, once somebody owns land, they're like, this is mine, nobody comes in here. So I'm actually an advocate for public land because I don't like fences. Like, I believe that everybody should be able to travel. Even if you have private land, you should be required to allow people to travel through it. That's just how it should be. It's ridiculous to have these gigantic swaths of land that are completely shut down. And a lot of stuff in Idaho is becoming owned by people in Texas, and they just shut it down. They do some hunts in Idaho, and outside of those hunts, nobody's allowed in. So they put these big old gates across there where we used to all enjoy just exploring freely on all of these pieces of property. Now the brothers from Texas own it all up, they buy it all up, and they do not let anybody in. So people are unfortunately messing things up if it's private, but then you have it so-called public, which is actually government owned, and then the BLM comes in with an iron fist and says, this desolate wasteland out here is now ours. You cannot come out here with a motorized vehicle, so saith the king. And unfortunately, there is no recourse. I've seen a lot of people fight against it. There was a guy who apparently won one of these battles in Utah, and he said that he never commented on it. He just sued them because what they were doing was against the law, because they were trying to shut down all these access roads which were built before 1936. And according to the law, if it was built before 36, it had to be open permanently for access. Apparently after 36, all things go for the government. But yeah, he was able to win with that, and he put the government under a little scrutiny, and they were not able to stand up against it because the government does a lot of illegal stuff. A lot of times what they do as far as restricting us, the people, the silent majority, it's not legal. So the silent majority out here, we want to be able to travel. We want to have our lands open. We want free access. The government does not like that idea. So unfortunately, we have a lot of issues here in Idaho and Utah and everywhere else where there's publicly owned land. Utah just had a huge loss. Idaho, unfortunately, in the Owyhees currently, they gave us 3 options. I commented on that a while back, and I commented that the first action should be taken, which was the least intrusive. But guess what? There was no option for no action taken. Isn't that weird? That is so weird, huh? It's almost like they're taking our options away. It's almost like we have no voice. So I don't know which way, the United States, the people of the United States should take. I don't know what path they should take, but I do know that at some point we have to stand up and say, no, we weren't asking. This is our land. I don't think you understand. We aren't asking. We have the right to be here. So at some point you have to just not comply with these tyrannical people. They will of course justify their actions with any number of things, including environmental impact charts, and they'll have some biologist go out there and find some weird microbe, or they'll do anything they have to do. They'll hire an expert, and that expert will feel like he hasn't done his job unless he comes back with the findings that they're looking for. He won't get his funding or whatever it may be. So they'll just keep on pushing. Unfortunately, they also just put Everide out of business. Everide is a prominent YouTuber and a guy who does tours in Utah, and the BLM just contacted him and said, basically, we're putting you out of business. You can't be taking people out and riding around with them, basically. And obviously he did not react to that well. I mean, he's having a lot of issues, but I mean, the poor guy is like all of us, unfortunately. Freedoms are being sucked out of us, man, and there's only one option, and that's to stand up in non-compliance. Anyways, guys, I hope you take this video, look into this stuff a little bit, and I hope somebody does something. We need to unite and make sure that our lands aren't taken over by the BLM, because they are a bunch of psychos. Catch you on the next video. Peace.